coming home is usually a good event. If you've been gone for a while and you come home, coming home is a wonderful experience, usually. I remember when my brother, he was away at the army, and he would come home every once in a while. He had leave for maybe a week or two or so, and he would come home, and I am sure that my mom took TV ads out because everybody knew that my brother was coming home. Everybody knew, and they would set up times like, all right, he's going to be here this time. He's going to see some friends sometimes, but he's going to be here, and the house would be packed. And everybody would come over. And all the conversations started this way. Hey, Mark, it is so good to see you. What have you been up to? And everybody wanted to find out because he's a different person now. He's had life experiences. He's done things that nobody else knows about. And he is still my younger brother who I still think I can take in any wrestling match. And I think I could yet. That's what Jesus experienced when he came home. Because Jesus is out. He's in his 30s and he starts his ministry. He's healing the sick. He's raising the dead. He's teaching with authority. And he comes home. He comes home to his hometown of Nazareth. And some of you might be thinking already, excuse me, Matt, hometown should be Bethlehem, right? Now, he was born in Bethlehem. Remember the star. We'll celebrate that in July this year again. Christmas in July, we'll do it. It'll be awesome. But he was born in Bethlehem. And then Herod said, I'm going to kill all the babies there. So they fled to Egypt. And then he said, we don't want to stay in Egypt. We want to go back to the nation of Israel. We don't want to get near Jerusalem. So they went to Nazareth, which is in Galilee. So Nazareth is hometown. And they know the family. They know Jesus. And I'm thinking that, they're going to throw a big parade for him. Big banners that say, "Welcome home, Jesus." But this is what happened. Let me read from Mark chapter 6 about Jesus' hometown and how they reacted when he came home. Jesus left that part of the country and returned with his disciples to Nazareth, his hometown. The next Sabbath, he began teaching in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. They asked, "Where did you get all this wisdom and the power to perform such miracles?" Then they scoffed. "He's just a carpenter, the son of Mary, and the brother of James and Joseph and Judas and Simon. And his sisters live right here among us." They were deeply offended and refused to believe in him. Then Jesus told them, "A prophet is honored everywhere except in his own hometown and among his relatives and his own family." And because of their unbelief, he couldn't do any miracles among them except to place his hands on a few sick people and heal them. And he was amazed at their disbelief. That's Jesus' homecoming. Let me give you the roadmap on where we're going today. I'm going to talk about our Jesus who amazes us, and our Jesus who offends us, and our Jesus who invites us to faith. But Jesus amazes us. It says, next Sabbath he began teaching in the synagogue, and many who heard him were amazed. If you were a rabbi at that time, and you went to a town, and you found your way into the synagogue on the Sabbath, they would say, "Wow, well, we will give you some special honor. You're a rabbi, you're a teacher. Well, come and teach us." And then they would give you some things to do. You could read a portion of the Old Testament scriptures, or you can teach about it too. And Jesus was given that same honor. Here, read something and teach us. And the people were amazed. It's not the same way we use that word amazed. It's not where we're saying, oh, you are that person. You are the person that I've been looking forward to hearing from. It was more of stunned disbelief, more shock. Like, how did this guy come to know what he knows? We knew this kid since he was this tall. There's no way. What happened? They were amazed that he could even do that. Their hearts were not open to Jesus. It was just an amazement in their head, like, wow, who does he think he is, that he can speak like this? This is not normal. See, they knew him. They knew him. Does Jesus still amaze you? It's an important question, especially for us that go to church. Does Jesus still amaze you? Remember the first time you were amazed by Jesus. Just try to remember that. The first time you understood that God said, I love you. And because you have a sin problem, I'm going to send Jesus to take away your sins. And you said, wow, that's amazing. That's amazing. Why would you do that? I'm just in awe of what you're doing. That you would willingly do this. And your heart was opened to our amazing Jesus. Do you remember the first time you learned that? And you were just in awe and amazed. And does he still amaze you? Does Jesus still amaze you? I mean, but everyday life. The things that he makes work out in your life. The terrible situations you were in or even are in. And you've gotten to this point and he's gone, that's what my Jesus did. Jesus, you're amazing how that you made this and I am a better person today because not only did you save my soul, but you have made everything work out to make me like this today, to worship you. Does he still amaze you? Because let me tell you this. If Jesus does not amaze you, he will offend you. If Jesus doesn't amaze you, he's going to offend you. Let me read verse 3 of his hometown. His hometown says this, they were deeply offended and refused to believe in him. Well, why would they be offended? Why would they be offended? You know, if we're picking up in our series, The Amazing Jesus, going through the book of Mark, his account of the gospel and the good news of Jesus. And in the first 5 books, there's 10 spots that Jesus did miracles. 10 different, that's the only ones he listed. But 10 different locations, Jesus was healing the sick. He was raising the dead, all of these things. He is doing amazing things. He is teaching with authority wherever he goes. The religious leaders, the elite, just couldn't handle it because he didn't talk about rituals. He didn't talk about things you have to do. He talked about relationship. All the first 5 books, and now we're in chapter 6. And they're offended. They're offended. Because Jesus doesn't fit into their small box anymore. They've got this small box on who Jesus was. And he should stay that big. This is how big he fits in my box. Let me give you a bigger, fuller picture of what was going on when Jesus came home. In his homecoming, in Luke chapter 4 gives us a bigger picture of what he did. He comes home and he goes to the synagogue and they give him the scroll because they didn't have books like we have. They gave him a scroll. He says, hey, would you read from this and teach on it? That'd be great. You're a teacher. Well, we love teachers. Come on in and teach us. And they give him the scroll of Isaiah. It's towards the end of the scroll, and he starts reading. We know it as Isaiah 61. He's teaching about the Messiah, the one that's going to make it all right, the way it was supposed to be. He's talking about the Messiah, and he goes this way. Isaiah 61, verses 1 and 2. The Spirit of the Lord is upon me, for He has anointed me to bring good news to the poor. He has sent me to proclaim that captives will be released, and that the blind will see, and that the oppressed will be set free, and that the time of the Lord's favor has come. And for us, we go, hey, that's nice. But someone who is going to hear that, someone who heard Isaiah 61 was saying, oh, that's what we want. That's what we want. The Messiah is going to come. The Messiah was the one person that was sent by God to make everything right. Because right now, they were ruled by a foreign country. We do not understand that. We're the United States of America. We have not been ruled by anybody except the British, and then we kicked them out long ago. But if someone came in and said, we're going to make sure that you guys do things our way, well, we wouldn't like that. And the Messiah was going to come in and kick out those Romans and bring God's reign and His rule on earth as it already is in heaven. And they're saying, oh, we want that. We want that in the worst possible way. Even us, we wait for God's reign, His full reign, that He is the King over all things. We wait for that. They're waiting for the Messiah to come. And Jesus is reading about this. That the blind are going to be able to see, the people that are oppressed are going to be set free, and that God's favor, as in His smile on us and saying, I got blessings for you, His favor will be on His people. Jesus reads that and He sits down. Because back in that time, the teacher would sit down when they're going to teach. Now, we have it backwards here. Now, imagine if you guys stood for the whole time and I got to sit down. That's the way we would do it. We're not going to switch it around, don't worry. But because we got the nice chairs now. They're nice. But he sits down and he says this. The scripture you've just heard has been fulfilled today. It's been fulfilled. I'm telling you right now, I'm that person. I'm in your presence. I'm the one sent by God to make it as it was supposed to be. I'm the Messiah. What? The Messiah? No. You're Jesus. You fit into our little box. You're not the Messiah is huge. He is politically motivated because he's going to kick out the Romans. He understands the people, as in he talks with the people around us to get the support of the people. He is the person who rubs shoulders with the religious elite so that he gets them on his side too. No, you're Jesus. We know you. You're a carpenter. You made my dining room set. You don't fit the mold of a Messiah. You're Jesus. So this is what they went from that to this. All the people in the synagogue were furious when they heard this. We get slightly miffed once in a while and slightly put out. They were furious. You're Jesus. You can't be the Messiah. They got up and drove him out of town, took him to the brow of a hill in which the town was built in order to throw him off the cliff. Now, you can read it. It's Luke chapter 4. But he walked right through the crowd and went on his way. This is Nazareth, his people that know him. They identified him as just like them. He's just like us. This is Jesus. Yep, he's like part of us. Don't we do that? I forget what year. It's got to be good 10, 15 years ago. One of my favorite shirts that I've ever seen. It said, there's a picture of Jesus on it, and he's going like this, right? And it said, Jesus is my homeboy. Am I the only one who knows this t-shirt? Oh, sorry. I'm using an analogy, but it was a fun shirt, and Jesus is going like this. And he's got one eye blinking. Like, hey, I'm just like you. I'm cool just like you. I'm your friend. I'm your buddy. I'm your pal. And that's what they thought. He's just like us. He can't be the Messiah. The Messiah's coming. The one that's going to make everything right. He's going to drive out those Romans and make God's reign permanent. Jesus, he's just like us. He's nothing special. Let me tell you this. Jesus offends us. He needs to offend you. And that's my question. Does he offend you? How does he offend you? My hope is that Jesus offends your pride. Sorry, if I'm saying it this way, I'm pointing this way as well. I hope he offends your pride. That you know that you're full of sin. You know, and I know that some people are here, I know I'm full of guilt, I got it. But do we really? Do we really? We kind of like say, yeah, I'm full, everybody's full of sin. I'll just put it to the side. Yeah, I'm going to go on with my day. And we don't do anything about it. We're not filled with sorrow about it. We're not filled with angst that our God hates our sin. It doesn't bother us. It's our pride. I'm just going on with my life. God's over in the corner. I hope Jesus just offends your pride. And he says, no. This is not right. You think that you're living in relationship with God. You're not. There's a problem here. We need to be serious about our sin. I hope he offends your independence. Your independence in this idea of, hey, I go to church once a week. I come here for my hour. I endure this guy who gets loud once in a while. And I do it. I do my 1 hour out of the week, and I got the rest to myself. Jesus has nothing to do with the rest of my life. I can live how I want. And I hope Jesus just offends your independence and says, no. The rest of your life is just as important as that 1 hour in church. You can come and hang out with people, that's great. What about the rest of the hours out of your week? Do I have any part in that? No, Jesus, that's mine. When Jesus comes, he died on a cross on Good Friday. Romans 6 says that we died with him. And when Jesus rose on Easter morning, it says that we who put our trust in him also rise. But it doesn't mean that we just go to live our own life as we wish. We are not independent from our God anymore. We belong to Jesus. Jesus will offend your notion that you can keep parts of your life apart from him. Do we get that? He needs to offend us in that way. He needs to offend our fairness, our idea that life is so fair. Because Jesus says, I want you to pray for those people that are trying to hurt you. I want you to pray for those people that wish to do you harm. I want you to forgive those people that have done terrible things against you. Wait, that's not fair. I am holding on to this grudge. Our Jesus offends us, just like it did those people in Nazareth. And he needs to. Or else everything that Jesus says, you put in that little box. And you don't let him be who he is. I got this feeling that if we were in Nazareth, we would have rejected him too. No, Jesus, you're good. You just stay over. All great teaching, good. You can stay over on the side. Because we want to do our own thing. Even though we rejected Jesus, even though we have hard hearts towards God, he still calls us to believe. He invites us to believe in him. Let me read this. In verse 6 it says, he was amazed at their unbelief, because he's always calling us to believe in him and believe deeper every day. Jesus was always amazed by people that put their trust in him. In Matthew chapter 8, there was this Roman centurion that had a servant that was sick. And he comes to Jesus and said, hey, would you heal my servant? This person's important to me. Would you heal him? And Jesus says, okay, great. I'll go to your house. And the centurion goes, no. I understand who you are. You're a man of authority. You only have to say the words, and my servant will be healed. Can you imagine that type of faith in somebody? Just your words are enough. And Jesus says this. When Jesus heard this, he was amazed. He's going, where are the other people that don't trust me like that? He was always amazed at people who believed. Jesus works with whatever amount of faith that you give him, even if it's a speck. We just talked about the first 5 chapters of Mark. In the 5th chapter, just before this story, there's a person called Jairus. He's got a daughter. His daughter is sick. She's going to die. And he's an influential person, and he's taking a chance by going to Jesus. He's heard that Jesus heals people. I'll go to Jesus. Jesus, would you heal my daughter? And Jesus says, okay, I'll go to your house. And they start walking on the road to Jairus' house. And in the middle of it, the whole story gets hijacked. There's this woman who's got a bleeding disorder. And she says, man, I've heard of this Jesus guy. You know, I don't know him all that well, but I've got this much faith. If I can just touch his robe, just a little touch on his robe, I know I will be healed. I got that much faith. I don't have much, but I have that much in Jesus. And she touches his robe, and she's healed. And in the middle of that encounter with Jesus, somebody from Jairus' house comes up and says, Jairus, hey, it's not good. She's dead. Don't have to worry about bothering Jesus anymore. And Jesus says this. Follow me on this one. He says, don't be afraid. Just believe. Does he say that to you today? You know, you might have this much faith in Jesus. Man, I just know there's lots of turmoil in my life. I've got this much faith. He says, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Just have faith. He's always inviting us further and deeper into faith with him. Yet, I get frustrated with churches some days that it's like they give out vaccinations, like Jesus vaccinations. You know, when we get vaccinated, the little kids, they get a little bit of like smallpox. They get dead smallpox, and they put it in there. And our bodies are so wonderfully made that our bodies will say, hey, there's some dead smallpox in there. And the antibodies react against that and say, all right, next time we see some smallpox, we're not going to get it because we already know how to fight it. That's the way our bodies work, and all because of a vaccine. Sorry, I made it. This is not political, sorry. I just didn't want to go there, all right? But that's what some of us get the Jesus vaccine. We get a little bit of dead church. Oh, I went to church as a kid. Grandma would drag me to church. Yeah, we got there. That guy was boring. Songs were pretty good, but all right, I endured it. You got a little bit. Went to Sunday school, and everybody else was a holy terror in there. I didn't know what to expect. But that was church. And that's what we come to believe churches are about. And when Jesus comes, we don't recognize him because we've had enough. We've got our vaccination, our Jesus vaccination. We don't catch Jesus. Because of all things you should catch here, we should catch Jesus. Because he is amazing. And he awes us. And he pushes us. And he offends us. And he says, I got so much better than what you have right now. It's all about a relationship with him. Man, I didn't know that. I've had my Jesus vaccine. I didn't know this. Our Jesus comes and he says, I've got grace for you. I've got grace for you. I offer this to you because it's so amazing. And he speaks words of power and wisdom. But they no longer convict our souls. He does miracles in your life, and you're not astonished anymore. You just say, well, that was a great chance that worked out. I hope this. I hope our Jesus still amazes you. I hope our Jesus still offends you. And I hope that you hear his voice to grow deeper in your faith and deeper in your belief. That you say, you are exactly what I need. Let me close there. Pray with me. Jesus, you are the Savior of our souls. You are the light in the darkness. You are our sure hope. May you open our eyes each day to just how amazing you are. Let it fill every second of our day and drive us to live closer to you. May it offend everything that keeps us from following you and trusting you deeper. We thank you for your presence here. We love you, Jesus. Amen.